Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the TLDR podcast. I just wanted to jump on this week. Unfortunately, Luke can't be on this week, so it's probably going to be a little quicker chat. But wanted to talk through a couple of things I've learned from the last week. Share with you maybe the current book I'm reading, as well as my latest playlist. So just kind of a bit of a check-in, all in all. First things first, I'm going to share music. If you do country and/or blues, or you're into, I would highly encourage that you dabble. Latest, not exploration. I've definitely been listening to him for ages, but I'm now just really getting into some Chris Stapleton, and that falls in alignment with been watching Yellowstone as well. So, don't be ashamed to come out of the woodwork, all you blues and country lovers. Treat yourself to a little bit of Chris Stapleton, and if you do have Stan, enjoy some Yellowstone. Can all get caught up. Lessons from last week. I got two main lessons I probably want to cover off. First one is instead of thinking what else, start thinking what more. I had a bit of a time probably early last week where a little bit flat to start the week. Wasn't really sure why, and kind of allowed myself a little bit more time to sit, talk it out, sit in silence a little bit, so not have external stimulation and that sort of stuff, and trying to explore and fully understand what was going on and maybe why I was feeling like this flat feeling. And I think that's something that maybe I haven't done in the past. I think, I'm pretty okay with feeling. But I think I would all identify, cool, I'm feeling a bit flat, time to mix it up, time to change it, blah, blah, blah. I haven't really gone down the path of let's really explore why you might be feeling this, what is either over or under stimulating you in that area, I guess. And I came to this realization I was starting to think about what else could I be doing? What else could stimulate me? What else could be, what else can grab my attention? What, in that sort of language, I guess. And as I woke on Tuesday morning, I realized I needed to start thinking what more. So rather than, have a project on the go or have a hobby or at work or in friendships or relationships, rather than thinking sort of what else maybe could you be doing, or what else could you get out of those things, or, got them to a level where you're happy and you're just like, cool, that's kind of operating as it is, and let's go and do something else. Start maybe thinking what more. So what more could I be doing in that arena to get more out of that? And that led me down the path of giving way more. Not that I was much of a taker in the past, but I just had more to give, and that's probably why I felt a bit flat. I wasn't being fully utilized to my potential, and that was self-imposed, absolutely. But when I made that shift, literally from Tuesday morning, demeanor changed, attitude changed. Found an extra pep in my step. I'd had 17 coffees, which I was probably bordering on, but I just felt invigorated. I felt like I actually had a little bit more to give, and I really sunk my teeth into what I was probably kind of setting to, set and forget. It's operational. I don't really need to be doing more there. But to invigorate myself, I should have been thinking, what more could I be doing to get that to the next level, and then to the next level, and then to the next level. And that all comes down to giving and giving more of yourself, allowing yourself to push further down that path, or further down a path that you might think you've accomplished already, or achieved a level of validity. You're kind of like, cool, done that. Now what? As opposed to, I've done that to this level, but let's keep going down that path. And you may not know to what level you need to be getting it to, but just by trying to do more and do more and do more, you're probably going to find that you can continually level up in that area. So that was lesson number 1 from last week. Lesson number 2 was towards the back end of last week, and it was giving myself a little bit of a not an unrealistic, but setting myself a time-bound goal that seemed maybe slightly unrealistic. It was in the realms of recruitment, and I'm not sure what industries you are all listening from, but I know for a fact in my industry over here in WA, recruitment is not the easiest at the moment. The demand for quality employees far outweighs the supply, and I stress the word quality, which is a very important in the company that I work for. We highly pride ourselves on quality, and for so long, maybe we've been advertising roles that are subpar. You put up a job that can, catch the most fish on a job ad website or out to the public, and then you filter through the shit. However, if you put up a shit job, you're only going to get shit applicants. And something I realized maybe a couple of weeks ago is that the people that are quality aren't out there looking for work. Some of the best people in your industry aren't the ones that are, scrolling through Seek or on Indeed or whatever those other job searching websites, because they're fulfilled in their role. Their employer doesn't want to lose them, and or they may be self-employed. They're that good that they probably don't, they're trying to go out on their own or they're doing it for themselves. So I went down the path of a headhunting sort of route and just started, creating a presence whereby I needed to always have someone ready to go, always have someone that I would be willing to hire. And that motivated me to kind of explore other avenues to recruit, essentially. And that led to that headhunting. However, I'm a bit off topic here. I set myself a target of within 48 hours to have recruited 2 quality staff members, pretty much from scratch, for 2 reasons. Number one, I don't really have the time outside of those 2 days to be able to get that done. I've got too many other things going on with this newfound energy. And number 2, my team are going to feel a lot more supported when I have a quality staff member to work alongside them, as opposed to a newbie who either doesn't want to do the work or isn't going to do the work. Because then that's just going to lean on the staff member even more to ensure that the quality of service is there or the product gets delivered on time or whatever that is. And when you're setting expectations, you need to set them across the board. It can't be one level of expectations for one group and another level for another group. It needs to be coming from the top down, which is, again, another lesson I've learned in the last little patch, which we can probably get into. But I found myself just grinding and hustling and just making sure that I could find these people. And low me down, I managed to get through to about 10 different people. Had seven of them apply for the 2 different roles, or being interested in the 2 different roles. And that's 10 out of nothing. And they're 10 quality applicants as opposed to just 10 applicants. 7 of them whittled down, and we're in the final stages now of finding out finding out from those 7 who's going to take the job. And now the job becomes the key player, because instead of having to lowball the job to get everyone, I can actually set the expectation and go, no, more than happy to pay what you're worth if you bring that worth. So yeah, I think the lesson there for me was to, if you had told me a week ago that to recruit 2 people within 2 days, I would have told you you're dreaming. It's just it's so reliant on external factors. But then when you take ownership of that task, you find that you can be doing, again, way more, as opposed to doing something else, I guess. Last thing there, expectations. And the difference between setting an expectation and acting on an expectation. Sit with that for a little bit. I've definitely set expectations of myself before in the past, and you live up to them maybe for a period of time, but maybe not for forever. Whereas if you're setting expectations of a team, or you've got people around you and you're wanting to achieve something, there's a massive difference between setting an expectation. You have people within that group that will live up to them because of their own work ethic and that sort of stuff, and you have people that won't for whatever reason. Now, if you were to let in, especially someone in a leadership position, if you're going to let people that once you've told them once, twice, 3 times, given them the training that they need to meet an expectation, and they're still not doing it, if you're going to let that person continue to operate within that space, you're basically showing to the other staff that your expectations are just words, and that the hard work that they've been doing till then, they didn't necessarily need to be doing, because you're letting it go by the wayside with someone else. So it's kind of a twofold. Number one, you've got to actually act on it and go, if they're not the right person, then let's go and find someone else that is. And your team will feel supported by that. You're like, cool, all the work that I'm putting in, no one else is getting by the skin of their teeth. I'm going to get supported in that arena as well. And secondly, your whole team and group and company, whatever perspective you're coming from, are just going to level up, because you've got people that are working at a level that is just hopefully at your expectations, if not exceeding them. So yeah, nice little short, sharp podcast this week. 3 little lessons in there. Hopefully you got something out of it. The last little thing I want to share with you is I am reading a book called A Guide to the Good Life by William B. Irvine, and it's a book on stoicism, not just Like I've read Marcus Aurelius's Meditations, which I think I've left in Adelaide. I normally keep that with me. It's a really good book. And this one is going a little bit more down the path of the previous, like the philosophy of life, I guess, and giving the reader an understanding of not just exploring a philosopher, but actually what is your philosophy to life. And even in the first, I'm barely 30 pages in. I'm getting heaps out of it. So if you're looking for a book and you're not sure about professional development for yourself or what to pick up, I would recommend the book by William B. Irvine, A Guide to the Good Life. Nice and short and sharp, like I said, guys. And next week we have on an amazing guest by the name of Vaki. He is a content creator on YouTube. Sorry, he's a content creator and has his own YouTube channel. Works in the CrossFit and the fitness space. Is quite big in Australia when it comes to helping out fitness brands like the Wildlife, which we had Andy on the other week. Active Eyewear, which is a brand that's been created by Cara Saunders, who is a CrossFit Games athlete. He also films a lot of content for different brands across the globe as well. So really interesting chat. We've already recorded it, but just saving it for next week. So do recommend you switch the notifications on for that one. But until then, guys, have a lovely week and we'll chat soon.